What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Sunday, everybody. Okay, I wanted to talk about this because whenever somebody who's that big starts talking about the topic, that means more people are going to pay attention. And I really liked it the first time that I heard comedian Bill Maher talking about UFOs. He didn't specifically talk about UFOs, but let me refresh your memory a little bit, and then I'll tell you what he said recently, just this week, about UFOs. And this is a much more serious conversation. I don't know how the first time I heard him talking about it could come across to everybody, but you be the judge and I'll show it to you. So, this is, to those who don't know, Fred Durst from the band Limp Bizkit. That's one of the bands that I followed the most when I was younger. Yeah, I was obsessed with those guys. That's where my initial taste for caps began because of this guy. And also, his music was pretty incredible. And something that I didn't know about him was that he is very much into UFOs. In fact, there was this one time I when I found out about that, I sent him a DM because his DMs on X are open. I didn't think he was gonna see it at all. And I sent it to him and he liked it. That was really cool. And especially for someone who I admired so much when Limp Bizkit was in its prime. But I didn't know that he was a big UFO guy. And I found out that he was a big Dr. Stephen Greer guy. Dr. Stephen Greer has talked about Fred Durst a couple of times in public. So this guy went on Bill Maher's podcast, which is called Club Random with Bill Maher. And Fred himself was the one who brought up a topic that is discussed in ufology significantly. So I'm going to play you that, and then I'm going to play you the more recent statement from Bill. I don't know if this had any influence in Bill taking the topic a bit more seriously, but listen to what Fred says.
Maybe this might be crazy, but what's your take on like 0 point energy or the UFOs and UAPs and things happening?
What's 0 point energy?
0 point energy is a technology that's been around for a long time that's been kind of dark shelved and buried, that you could take energy from the vacuum in space to power everything we need. Your home, power your whole...
The vacuum in space.
Yes. So what happens is we don't need to plug into the power grid. We don't need to have this primitive kind of energy situation that we're being forced. Basically, you're born on Earth to either pay for energy and survive, or not be able to pay for energy and not make it.
Well, okay, so what is the vacuum in space, and why is it filled with energy, and how do we get it out of it?
Well, that's the idea. The idea is there's
I can understand why.
No, I'm sorry, but there's already people who've proven it. There's already people who've done the same, like the guy who created the car that runs off hydrogen and water. You know, his technology's been shelved. Imagine if our cars ran off water. You know, it'd be a big deal, right?
Yeah,
so you really don't think much about that stuff.
I've heard it before. I haven't heard this one about the vacuum in space, which I don't know what is. I mean, I know what vaguely what a black hole is, very vaguely. Don't ask me to explain it or teach it. I'm the poetry teacher, but a vacuum in space, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure why it would produce energy, and I'm not sure how we would ever get it the fuck out of there. So,
well, imagine if energy was free. Do you think that would be okay. For anybody in the world if we had free energy?
You know what, Fred? I can also imagine them sending me ice cream in the mail every day. But just because you can imagine it doesn't mean that it's real or possible. Or this just sounds like something somebody told you. And
I've actually, yes, people have told me, and some people who are really involved with it, and they've exposed some videos and some home videos made by people who do it.
But do you understand the science of it? If not, then you're
the science of it, I can't really articulate that well.
Well, if you don't understand the science of it, then it's just religion. Then you're just believing something on faith. And
I'm wanting to believe in it. I don't
exactly. There you go. Yeah. Wanting to believe in it is, if that's leading to you actually believing in it, then you have to be a little stronger in the mind and say, sure, I want to believe in a lot of things. I would like to believe that Jesus loves me and whatever shitty things I do on earth, he died for my sins. Thank you, by the way.
So, just so you guys see the difference, Bill Maher was just on his show talking to Van Jones. I think he's from CNN, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a news guy, sort of. And Marek von Rennenkampf was the one who spotted this, and he clipped it. From Marek, he says, "Bravo to Bill Maher and Van Jones for a superb discussion on UAP." Jones said, "I am into it. I would do wall-to-wall coverage of these generals having to say, there is weird stuff, we don't know what it is." And then Maher says, "It looks like we're at the very least under surveillance." There's a shift in tone from Bill from the interview he did with Fred Durst about 2 years ago to this. Check it out.
The government be more transparent about the existence of UAPs. UAP is UFO.
Yes.
Right? I don't know why they think that's going to calm our nerves by changing to, it's a UFO. And I mean, what I've been reading lately is that there's one heading toward the Earth. There's something that's 13 miles long. It doesn't apparently look like any other comet because the light is coming from the top, from the front and not behind. And it's apparently making a trip through the solar system that is uncommon for comets. It looks like.
So yeah, he's right. It's a very anomalous comet, but it's a comet. And I don't know. I know that the fear kind of sets in when you realize that it has anomalies that you don't know about. And that's when the science fiction-y kind of head creeps in. And we got to be really careful with this. And this is something that I've spoken about with Dr. Beatriz Villarroel, because her line of work is risky, pretty risky. And Avi Loeb is also in a risky line of work. And they do know that they need to be very precise with the way in which they convey their thoughts about this, because they don't want to be misconstrued. Abby has suffered that many times already. So somebody this famous like Bill alluding that it may be a UFO, a giant UFO, that is not helpful. That's one thing. And he's taking it seriously, though, because he really is investigating about it. But this is not the part of the conversation that I wanted to show you guys. I just wanted to clarify this.
It's doing a drive-by of all the planets. I don't know, but I just think, and there was that thing that bounced off that they fired at something, and so the Navy, the military.
I'm into it. Listen, I am into it. I think, first of all, the Pentagon now is by law has to give reports on this stuff. And if I were in charge of, I don't know, I would do wall-to-wall coverage of these generals. I have to sit there and say, there's weird stuff we don't know what is. Yeah. To me, that's new.
We've had that in Congress.
We should be talking about it.
We are. I mean, I just think there are certain people who just think this goes in the file with the nuts who think we didn't land on the moon and every other conspiracy theory, and it's different.
I think it's different.
There's no scientific reason. Carl Sagan said it. There's no scientific reason why we would necessarily be alone in the universe. We might be, but increasingly, it looks like we're at very least under surveillance. Let's hope that they're just observing and not readying us, for it. I don't want Keanu Reeves to come down and say, look, we gave you the benefit of the doubt, but you're just way too destructive. I mean, that could be what's coming.
So yeah, there's a shift in tone, definitely. He's taking it more seriously. He seems to be erring on the side of fear a little bit, which is not good. We have to keep a cool head when we look at these things. As I told you, and I'm sure Bill has already seen Dr. Beatriz Villarroel's work, which is very significant, and it's ongoing. We still don't know if those papers have been approved or not, and if they are, if they get approved, that's going to be a huge deal. I don't know if it could be one of the first steps towards a public announcement, because it is a scientific paper. If it gets approved and it gets published as is, that's a huge deal. So yeah, at the very least, I also think we've been observed for a long time. I don't know if we're an experiment. We could be, but from that to thinking that we could be invaded, that's a huge leap. I don't think that would happen, even if all of this was real. I think the Earth is a really impressive and important and biodiverse natural resource. If higher intelligence exists, I would think that they would want to preserve a place like this. Maybe not the hominids on the planet, which is very possible, but I don't think destroying the entire planet is even logical, just like that. But yeah, what do you guys think about this sudden change in attitude and from Bill Maher? Because he sounded like he thought it was kind of a joke when he was talking to Fred Durst. And now he seems to be convinced that something is going on. So who do you think he talked to? What do you think changed? What do you think overall about him and Van Jones being more serious about UFOs? And it's such a big platform like Real Time with Bill Maher, which is one of the biggest. Let me know in the comments. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most, so thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can become a member on YouTube, or you can support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated, so thank you. And that's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Bill Maher. Always. Bye.